I feel like because I'm gonna start off this episode with a little bit of just a more tongue in cheek in a way, I guess you could say, like something more easier to digest. And I feel like like I don't know how hard it is to digest something like this, but like at the end of the day, it's up for you to decide if like it's something to be digestible. However, I wanted to talk about uh significance and how being significant in your friend group or like your family group or like any sort of like friendship you have or relationship you have, uh the act of wanting to make something significant or have meaning towards it. I feel like I'm not like a psychiatrist or like a psychologist or anything like that. I'm very much like a person that just like dwelled on like a lot of problems by myself, and I sat down and just like let myself grovel in my own, I guess you could say, things that I go through. And I feel like it's pretty easy to just explain it in a more decent way. I don't know if there is a way, a decent way to actually explain all of this. It's just that, like, in my head, it's just easier to explain it in this sort of way, essentially. And I feel like a lot of people, a lot of people have this sort of thing where they feel like significance come from meaning or or anything of the sort, or like thinking that once you find significance in oneself, it's like it's like both ways, where like if you find significance in something, you will find meaning to it, or if you find meaning to it, you find significance from it, if that makes sense. So I never really sat down and just like heard myself uh thought about it until today, which is like where I essentially thought to myself, like, is it like, am I like significant in my boyfriend's life? And like at the end of the day, like that should be it, right? Like that shouldn't be thought for too long. Like, of course you're significant in your partner's life, of course you're significant in the people that you love's life. So like I feel like being argumentative over your worth as a person towards someone will only bring more harm rather than good, if that makes sense. So after a while, I sit down and just I sit down and just like try to think for myself, is it like worth it to have this almost like high horse where I think my like, in a way, like, is it fair to like ask my partner to be like, do you find meaning for me? Because like, of course they do, obviously. Like it's not rocket science at the end of the day. Like, he chose you for a reason, and that's pretty much it, essentially. Like, there shouldn't be a deeper meaning towards that sort of thing. And I feel like my significance as a person doesn't like come from people's validation. It's only like at the end of the day, like, I feel like it's like my own self preview of like what I feel like. If I feel like if I feel like if I feel like I am significant in my partner's life, if I am significant in people's lives, if I am only I can bring true meaning towards complex things, that I feel like don't make sense to me right now. And at the end of the day, like, is it like fair for me to question it? Obviously. Like, I mean, I am my own person. I have my own doubts and I have my own problems that, like, you know, I deal with. But I feel like, is it like fair for your partner, for example, for asking these sort of question to them, just like as if like they like I don't know, like it almost feels like it almost feels like an egoist like mentality of like I need to find my boyfriend's validation, but at the end of the day, like you're not gonna find any validation if you seek for it that much. Obviously they're gonna say, oh babe, don't worry, like I love you, don't worry. But like what happens after the third time? What happens after the fifth time? What happens after the other more times that you're going to be asking this question? Obviously it's going to be tiring, and I understand that people who have issues with essentially like avoidant attachment like styles, like obviously they would feel like if they were to be ignored or like to be not listened to, they're going to be more and more like more like it's gonna be more problematic for everyone other than themselves. Because like at the end of the day, like I view it as a person that is struggling to understand themselves, but at the end of the day, I think it's fair for them to actually work on themselves. I feel like it's like I feel like it should be the bare minimum to attempt to like fix yourself, or like to make things that will be painful in the beginning, or like something that like you wouldn't be comfortable with. And I made a decision, and I think it's the greatest decision I ever made. And it might be like it might be painful for me, but at the end of the day, like I feel like my relationships have improved because of it, and I have no like problem by doing these changes, because I feel like it's the for the greater good of everyone that like care about me. And that decision was to essentially let myself like let myself let go of this like problematic behavior, such as not thinking before speaking, not like not like arguing before even knowing the situation, etc. And all of these are like things that are like I think a lot of people can relate. And I think like because like I am not like the only person in this world, and I guess like you could call it like an egoist mentality, where like there will be other people outside of the world other than me that struggles with this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's really the truth. Like there's no like there's no cheat code to things. Like I feel like people are often relating themselves towards like towards people they don't know, and like that's not a bad thing. Like it's totally not a bad thing at all. And I feel we are so in a way in a way like we're stuck up into this like mentality of like you shouldn't listen to this person, because at the end of the day like they don't know who you are, or like like people shouldn't dictate what you should do in your life. I feel like gaining and listening to advice and taking what you want and not taking what you don't want is a perfectly normal thing to do. And I am like like I am just like tired of like people like judging others for giving like life advice, obviously unless it's unsolicited. But like like it takes time to like it takes time to like recuperate and like to to be decent at a lot of things, and I guess like it's just like a thing that like you can't really perceive as a human being, because like at the end of the day everyone is an op, and every op has like their ways to like you know uh destroy your life or anything like that, or like that you want to believe in. And I mean, obviously everyone has an op, so like I'm not gonna argue about that. If like I think like that's fair that like some people have devious I feel like people have devious showcases of life that essentially uh will like showcase some bad behavior that like some people say, hey, this is a good thing for you, but like it ended up being something really bad, for example. And I have gotten myself such a wonderful friend group that like they would be able to like listen, at least in a moment's notice. And whether or not they get tired, that's up to them to decide. I don't really find myself like in a way. What the fuck? Right. I don't find myself to be in a position where like I get tired of people speaking about their issues. And uh like it comes down back to like the significance of others and making sense of it, or like making something worth of it. It's good that you're making meaning out of certain things. It's good that you're making it you're making issues that arise to be rather it's good that you have a good understanding of your own life, that you don't have to tell somebody that like you feel aching, or like even like the act of like even the of the act of like just saying like I am in pain, or like I'm yearning, or like I am in need of solace. That's honestly understandable if you were to ask someone that. But at the end of the day, you have the capability to be your own self, and like finding that meaning will be your own journey. And take your time to just have fun, and see life as whimsical as possible, in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, like, what is life without like a little bit of color? I feel like if you dim down that like that childlike splendor that like some people have, and like because of like they need to be an adult or anything like that, I feel like that's probably your cue to like actually like like if you're not able to, obviously you're not going to be doing that. But if you have the capabilities to, and you have the energy, you have the mental capacity, like do yourself a service and just sit down and actually just do something enjoyable, whether it is a game, a song, a play, a movie, anything. Like it's just nice to like have something alongside of like your already. I think like it's a shared experience where like their lives are miserable, but like at the same time, one thing I do want to say is, um, if you were to have the time to be like your current self, what current self would you choose, essentially? Like what is it that you want to become like if you weren't in this position where you're asked to be an adult, or like asked to be like your grown-up self and not be whimsy. Like is there like any responsibilities that like you need to disallow or deny yourself of this behavior? And if so, like that's fine, but at the same time, when you can, when you have the energy, when you have the space, when you have the safety, do yourself a service and just like have fun, you know? Don't be indulge in this like fantasy of like I need to be a grown man at every time. I don't want to be cringe. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. Obviously, if you go strip naked at a fucking mall, that'll be problematic. But like, I mean, like little things, like play Minecraft, have fun, play some Nintendo games, like just like have a life outside of like your serious self. Like I feel like it's only fair to give yourself that. Sorry, there was a. Oh, I feel like you have the capacity to change yourself, and if you want to let yourself change for the better, you have to commit to changing completely. If you feel like there is a cringe thing in the internet, think about it as like, obviously like there are things that are like cringeworthy, that is like bad, like fucking, I don't know, like texting minors when you're, when you're an adult. Obviously that's like bad. But I mean like things such as like enjoying cosplay and like, like playing games, just having a good life. I feel like we're becoming Rust players where like it's not just like you don't you find meaning towards everything, but just like the act of like shaming somebody for having a more enjoyable life, and that's like confusing to me because like you're like you're denying someone of like of a life that could potentially be one and done for them, like something that would be nice for them for once, essentially. And and I feel like where is that? I feel like life would be so much better if we stop condemning people. And I'm not condemning any of these people for like hating on others. That's just how they were raised or something like that. But like at the end of the day, like at the end of the day, just because someone has a different view of life and having stuff like being babied or something like that. And I feel like that's fine, you know. Or- yeah, like stay stay cheerful and just try to love your people more often, as hard as it is. Like, you might find yourself to be like not liking your cringy roommate, or like you don't like your furry, like, I don't know, like neighbor. I don't know. But yeah, like, at the end of the day, like, they're trying their best. They're actually not asking for much. They're just they're just living life as they were given, and we're punishing them for essentially living a life that we couldn't have, if that makes sense. Oh, there it is. Where is it? Oh, there it is. It's raining. Yeah. I think that'll be it for this episode. I don't know. I think I rambled way too much. The game has gotten into my brain. All right. Thank you very much. Bye bye.